I'm not excited to make this video at all. I'm disappointed that the Lakers lost Game 6 and eventually, ended up losing the series. But I do congratulate the Suns for, winning the series, and I'm glad that the Lakers were able to push it to 6 games. But before I get to that game, I want to talk a little bit about the Nuggets and Blazers series, because the Nuggets won in 6 yesterday as well. So, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. You won in 6 games against the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, you had a great season. You finished as the 6th seed barely. And Damian Lillard had an amazing Game 5. And I honestly don't blame Damian Lillard at all for the loss of the series. They actually had a 14-point lead in the Denver in Game 6. But Denver came back. And they were within 4 at the start of the 4th quarter, and after that it was kind of obvious that the Nuggets were just going to win that game. And they eventually won by like 13, I think. So, props to them. They'll be facing the Phoenix Suns in round 2, so it'll be the 2 versus 3rd seed. A little bit excited for that. I would have been more excited if it was the Lakers versus Nuggets, but I'll get to the Lakers game. Anthony Davis was cleared to play in Game 6, but he actually started. But 5 minutes into the game, he re-aggravated his groin, and he was in a lot more pain. And the good thing is that he at least tried to come back, and he was, willing to. But sucks that he wasn't able to play much. From the beginning to pretty much all the way to the end of the game, it seemed that the Lakers or the Suns were just in control of it. Devin Booker went 6 for 6 from 3-point land in the first quarter, and the Lakers were down by 21 at halftime, and I was like, I just want this game to end so that I can, feel sad less, or for a shorter period of time. And eventually, during the 3rd quarter, they fell behind by 29 points. It was hard to watch. I am a diehard Lakers fan. And I am just... I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I'll admit it. But I was not expecting the series to go not in the Lakers' favor. I expected the Lakers to win in either 6 or 7 games. I didn't predict them to lose in 6 games. And this was before Anthony Davis got hurt. Obviously, I knew that the Suns were a big deal. Like, they won the season series for a reason. However, in all 3 of those games, well, one of them, they didn't have either LeBron or AD. One of them, they had LeBron, but not AD. And the other, they had Anthony Davis and not LeBron. But, yeah. I'm disappointed. I don't blame any one person really for the loss. I think it's just a bunch of things that added up to the loss. They lost the game 113-100. LeBron had like 29, 9, and 7. So he didn't have a bad game at all, but it just wasn't enough. Devin Booker had 47 points, which I think is a Suns record, and Jay Crowder had 18 points, and I now hate that guy even more because he's just a really annoying player. And during the 2020 offseason, they lost Dwight Howard, lost JaVale McGee, and lost Rajon Rondo for the main reason that they just didn't have the money to afford them. So they replaced them with Dennis Schroeder, who at the time seemed like a pretty even deal because Dennis Schroeder is a better player in the regular season, and we haven't seen him much in the postseason. And to replace Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, they got Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell. Now, Montrezl Harrell was the reigning 6th man of the year, so it seemed like it was a pretty good thing that the Lakers picked him up. And then Marc Gasol is a great veteran champion, and he's a good defender still. Not as good as he used to be, but he's still a good defender. But Dennis Schroeder this season did not shoot well from three. Nobody, as a matter of fact, the Lakers as a whole did not shoot well from three. They shot like 28% from three in the playoffs. And I think letting JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Rajon Rondo leave the team, and they also, I forgot to mention, they didn't have A.V. Bradley, who would have been a big help in this series. Obviously, Wesley Matthews is a good piece to try and replace Avery Bradley, but honestly, I would say that Avery Bradley is a little bit quicker, and he is just, in my opinion, a bit better than Wesley Matthews. So, and also, he's still as athletic as he was when he was younger, because, he's not like he's young or old, but Wesley Matthews has had better days. After he tore his Achilles, he hasn't really been the same. And it's been disappointing. I watched ESPN. Tim Legler had a great take on it. Frank Vogel. Last year in the playoffs, he was an amazing coach. He had so many amazing adjustments. After the first game in both round 1 and 2, he made some incredible adjustments that helped them win the series and helped them win in 5 games in pretty much every series. But when you know that Anthony Davis is going to have a good chance of being injured, you have to prepare him. You have to prepare Montrezl Harrell for being in big moments. Like, you have to prepare him for starting and playing big minutes. Because Montrezl Harrell averaged 8 minutes a game this postseason, and he's the reigning 6th man of the year prior to this year. He was the reigning 6th man of the year in 2020. He was the 6th man of the year in 2020. You have to play him. He's a good player. He's a young player. I can't give a good opinion on him on defense, but he's a good player. He's a great backup. That's why he was the 6th man of the year. So if you are Frank Vogel, you need to play him more. Like, you just need to. You can't just, barely play him like you did this series. My God. And Dennis Schroeder, he shot 0 for 9 from 3 in Game 5 and had a negative 17 plus minus. The last 3, I think Game 4, in my opinion, was the most easy to watch of the games that the Lakers lost the past week. Game 5 was so hard to watch because they lost by 30 and they were down by 30 the entire game. And Game 6 was terrible. It was also hard to watch. My goodness, it was rough. But yeah. It was rough. I guess today there is a game between the Mavericks and the Clippers. Let me check if it's going to be in... Okay. Ooh, it's going to be in Dallas today. Okay. So, it's going to be in Dallas. So, if Dallas wins this game, it'll be the first time this series where a home team actually won their game. Because every time so far, it's been the away team that wins the home games. So, I'm excited to watch that at 6 today. It's currently about 4 o'clock as I'm recording this audio. And I made a bracket. I'll bring that up on my computer. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but I'll bring it up so that I can have a look at it. So, my predictions for this postseason were that the I made this, right before a game. I made this before the playoffs started. So, I thought that the Jazz were going to win in about 5 or 6. I thought the Jazz were going to win in 5. Mavericks were going to win in 7. Nuggets... Well, I actually filled in that the Nuggets won in 6. And the Jazz won in 5. And the Sixers won in 5. And the Knicks won in 5. And the Bucks won in 4. And the Nets won in 5. So, I filled in of what I thought before the playoffs started. So... I predicted the Mavs would win in 7. I predicted the Lakers would win in 7. So then the second round would be the Mavs versus the Jazz and the Lakers versus the Nuggets. I predicted the Lakers would win in 6 against the Nuggets, and the Lakers would win in, and the Mavs would win in 6 against the Jazz. And then I predicted for the conference finals that the Jazz or the Lakers would win in 6 against the Mavericks. For the East, I predicted the Sixers would win in 6 against the Hawks. The Nets would win in 7 against the Bucks. And then in the conference finals in the East, I predicted the Nets would win in 6 against the Sixers. And then in the finals, I predicted the Lakers would win in 7 against the Nets. So, yep, that was my playoff bracket. I'm sorry if I seemed like monotone this video. I'm just a little bit upset about the Lakers' loss. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you tomorrow.